Hello guys and welcome to my channel. Today in this video I'm going to tell you how to further extend your storage on Steam Deck. As you know already, there are two ways which is most popular as of these days to extend the storage is to change the internal SSD, which I have already done, to include a 2 TB internal SSD. And then you can include an SD card here onto the bottom up to 1 TB so as to be able to extend your internal storage up to 3 TB. Here in this video I'm going to tell you another way to further extend your storage if you need to play or store a lot of games onto your Steam Deck. Before we move further guys, if you have not seen my previous videos on how to upgrade the internal SSD of the Steam Deck, I will put the link of the video above or in the description below for you guys to check it out. In this video guys, I'm going to install this USB Type-C hub which comes with an internal M.2 SSD enclosure so as to be able to further extend your storage. So before we move further guys, ensure that you watch this video till the end so that you do not miss out on any important information or instructions that I have to share. Before we move further guys, if you are new to my channel and not yet subscribed to my channel, please hit that subscribe button and click that bell notification icon so that you get the notifications from my new videos. Let's get started. Before we can start with the installation of this USB Type-C hub, let's see what else you need so as to be able to mount this hub onto your Steam Deck. First thing that you need is this JSAUX Steam Deck cover guys. As you can see, there is a slot onto the back through which you can install an adapter which comes along with this case, which looks like a watch here, which will go inside this like this and slide it onto it, and then further you can hold any peripheral that you would like here to go along with the Steam Deck. Along with this guys, you also get a metal stand onto the back so as to be able to place your Steam Deck onto the table and play using the wireless controller. So that is what you get along with this case cover guys. I will put the link of this case cover onto the description guys so that you guys can check it out. So since I have already installed the case, this is very simple, just like any other case which is available in the market, just that you have two more features. One is this metal stand. Also you have a metal plate onto the back which also duals the role of heatsink, and then you get an extra slot here so as to be able to mount an additional SSD onto the back. So now that we know how do we mount this SSD enclosure, let's quickly go and unbox this SSD enclosure so as to check what are the functions and features which this SSD enclosure has to offer in addition to extending the memory onto this Steam Deck. So let's quickly open this. So as you can see, this comes in this white box. So onto the top it says that it is USB Type-C hub with M.2 enclosure. It is made by Degress. So I will put the link of this hub in the description as well so that you guys can check it out. Let's see onto the back. Onto the back it says that the port that it has available. So it has an M.2 slot. It has a slot in which it has an internal cable which you can enclose inside. You have an 100-watt power delivery. That is what I was talking about guys. So whenever you hold this hub onto the back of your Steam Deck, you never have to remove. You can directly connect a USB Type-C charger or this power bank so as to be able to charge this, and you can keep this M.2 SSD enclosure directly connected onto your Steam Deck, which is a very lightweight hub, and you can keep playing and you will have the storage handy everywhere you go. As you know, in the market there are a lot of hubs or stands which are available which will extend the memory similar to this guys, but that is an on the desk hub which will need you to place your Steam Deck onto the table and it will never be portable. So with this hub guys, it will still be portable and you will have an extended storage. Here you have an HDMI port, then you have your SSD card, bigger SSD card, USB 2.0, USB 3.1 port, and a USB Type-C port. On the other side you will have the host and USB 2.0 port. So these are all the ports which are available onto your hub. In addition to that, onto the side it also says it has M.2 slots. It is capable of 4K 60 Hz and 10 Gbps data speed, through which you will be able to read and write onto M.2 SSD. And then you have an 100-watt power delivery, so you will be able to connect any laptop charger or USB Type-C charger to charge your Steam Deck and power this up as well, so that will never be a problem. So this is also something really nice. Onto the other side you have the branding of Degress. So this is what you have onto the top of the box. Now guys, let's quickly open the box and see the contents inside. So I'll keep the top cover onto the side. Here you have the hub itself, and let's see what else is there inside. Inside you get a carrying case, just in case you want to use it as a hub. And then additionally you have a thermal paste so as to be able to install it inside the M.2 slot, so as to keep your M.2 slot cool. So that is what it is used for. And it comes with a user manual just in case you want to go it through. So it has all the instruction, but the user manual is in Chinese. So just in case you know Chinese, you can go through the user manual, but there are figures through which I think you can figure it out how to assemble this and use it. So that is what it is. So I'll keep that aside. Now let's open the hub itself. So as you can see, it has a very nice metal finish onto the top. This is a brushed aluminum finish that it has. So let's see the ports itself. Onto the side, USB Type-C and USB 2.0 port. Onto the other side, you have an micro SD slot, you have an SD card slot, you have an USB 2.0 port, USB 3.1 port, and a USB 3.1 Type-C port onto the side. So this is also something really nice, so as to be able to connect any high-speed peripherals onto this USB port. Now let's quickly open this. To open is very simple. All you need to do is lift the metal cover up. This is a magnetic lock that you have onto the side that holds the metal plate onto its place like this, so it will not fall off. So this is also something really nice. So let's open this, and here you can see you have an M.2 slot which will take up to a full length SSD. So you do not need to buy a 2230 SSD, which is really expensive, so you can use a longer SSD so as to be able to save some bucks. So this is M.2 SSD, and then you have the cable slot onto the side so that you do not lose the cable. So it has a cable holding space inside the case itself, which is also something really nice. So here I have, guys, 2 TB SSD from Kingston. This is NVMe SSD generation 4 2280. This is a full length SSD that I'm going to install it here. So let's quickly do that. As you can see, guys, this is my 2 TB SSD made from Kingston. This is NVMe SSD generation 4. So it is a high speed SSD with the latest generation technology, so that you have the highest speed possible from this NVMe SSD. Since this is a 2 TB SSD, it will add a 2 TB additionally to what I have internally installed onto my Steam Deck. So let's quickly install this. Before we can install, let's remove the 2 screws that you have onto your SSD slot. As you would need only one, it comes with 2 screws so that you have 1 screw spare just in case you lose one. Now to install the SSD, as you can see onto the side, there is one notch here, and you have a notch onto the port as well. So you need to match the notch and push it inside like this. When your SSD is lifted like this, you would know that your SSD is installed correctly. Now you need to press the SSD all the way down so that you have the hole matching onto your SSD. Using the screw, you need to tighten this up so as to hold your NVMe SSD right on its place. As you can see, I have installed the SSD correctly. But before we can close the case, you need to install the thermal pad as well. So this is a thermal pad that came along with this box. It is a really thick thermal pad, as you can see from the side. So since the SSD is inside, so the thermal pad will be placed onto the top so that it touches the top cover of the hub so as to dissipate the heat from the top hub as well. So that is what it is used for. Before we can place the thermal paste, you need to remove the plastic covering that it came with, and you do not need to remove this plastic cover from the SSD, as it will void the warranty of your SSD. So ensure that you do not remove that. Just remove the plastic from the thermal paste, which is going to be sufficient. So I have removed it from one side and placed it onto the top, and then I'm going to remove it on the other side as well. So like this, you need to install your thermal pad onto your SSD. This is ready to be installed onto the Steam Deck. Let's put the plate onto the top. Now let's quickly go onto the Steam Deck and then plug this on. So to install it onto the deck, let's place this hub onto this so that we can install it onto the back side of the deck. So let's place it like this, as this side will be facing onto the top. So let's quickly place like this. As you can see, you have a lock onto this. So using the band, you can lock this tightly onto its place, and you can accommodate the additional length like this, just like the watch. So this is how you install the hub onto this adapter. Now let's place the adapter onto Steam Deck. So here is the place, guys, where I'm going to install. So this is the USB output port that is going to be connected onto this USB port on the top. So I'm going to put it like this so that my USB hub faces onto this side. So all you need to do is align the groove onto this and then slide it on gently, and then you can accommodate your hub as you would require. So as you can see, the hub is tightly placed onto your Steam Deck. Now I have some 90-degree adapters for USB Type-C, and this is an additional cable that I purchased, which I'm going to use to connect this hub onto your Steam Deck, as the cable that came along with this is a flat cable and it is a short cable. It will be very difficult to manage to connect it onto your Steam Deck. So I'm going to use this small USB Type-C to USB Type-C cable and two 90-degree adapters so as to connect it easily. So let's quickly do that. On to one side you have USB Type-C female, so let's connect this one and then connect it onto the top, and then the other side can go onto your Steam Hub. As you can see, my SSD drive is now connected. So let's quickly power on your Steam Deck and let's see the memory inside. So before we can turn it on, let's quickly see at the back side as well. As you could see, I have rotated the hub to move the cable onto this side and then take the cable onto the top. That makes more easier and more convenient, as otherwise your cable would be fiddling or interrupting the access of the two buttons that you have onto the back. So that is what I have done. So now let's quickly turn this on. As you can see, I am inside the Steam Deck. Now let's quickly check the storage. I will go on to settings, then go on to storage. As you can see, as of now, I do not see an external drive that I have connected onto my Steam Deck. If you do not see this, you need to go back, again hit on Steam, go on to power and go on to the switch desktop mode. So this is the place from where you will be able to mount your external SSD onto your Steam Deck. Once you are on the desktop, guys, you need to come here, go to the application launcher and then go to system and then go to KDE utility manager. Once you are here, it will ask you for the login password. This is the master password that you would have created before. I have already set up this password in my previous video on how to install the CryoGen utilities. If you have not seen that video, guys, I will put the link of the video above or in the description below for you guys to check it out. Assuming that you have seen that video and you have already set up the password, just enter the password and press enter. It will load all the disks as of now which are connected onto your Steam Deck. So the first one, as you can see, is my SSD for 0.5 TB, and then the second one is my internal SSD for 2 TB, and this is the third one, an external SSD of 2 TB, which I am going to mount. As of now, you can see it is formatted as NTFS, so I would want to delete this partition. To delete the partition, you need to unmount first, so unmount it. So once you have unmounted, it will be available for you to perform the operation. So it will give you further options on deleting the partitions and changing the partition. So I will first delete the partition because NTFS is not a recognized format on your Steam Deck. So let's delete this. So it is queuing all the operations onto the bottom, which we'll apply later, and then we'll again go back and select the partition and then click on new. It will ask you for the partition type. You have to select ext4.
So that is the format which is being recognized by Steam Deck. So once you have selected ext4, click on OK. So it will create a new partition of full size. So it will format your SSD and it will wipe up all the data. So ensure that before performing this action, you would have already backed up your data. So let's click on apply. So it will apply the changes. It will take some time to format as it is a large disk. It will ask you for the password again. Just enter the password. As you can see, the formatting is complete. So my disk is ready to mount. It will rescan and it will show you that your partition is now renamed to ext4. So that is what we needed. So there are few more steps, guys, before you can use this partition to download the games and keep it permanently connected, so that whenever you reconnect your SSD, it is being recognized and mounted automatically. So to do that operations, few things that you would need is your UUID. Right click onto this partition and go to properties, and here you have your UUID. So I will copy this, then you can copy by Control C. So that is what you need. So next thing that you need to do is go on to your application launcher, go to system and go to console. So once your console is up, you need to type a command called sudo nano space slash, you have to type etc again slash fstab. This is your partition manager, so that is why you would need to go there, and nano is your console editor, so that you will be able to edit anything inside the console. So that is why you need to go to this path and press enter. Sudo nano is required so that you have an admin access, so as to be able to edit the place that you would want to update. So this is the place where we are going to update the GUI ID or UUID of your external SSD. So let's do that. Press enter. It will ask you for the password. Press enter again, and then here you see you have your partition manager already listed. So you need to see here like this. So here you have first your UUID. This line would not be there in your FS tab, so ensure that you add this line exactly like this. All you need to do is for me, since my UUID is changed, I need to change the UUID. So my cursor is up, we'll scroll all the way right and do a backspace to delete the UUID and enter the new UUID. Here we'll do a paste. I have a paste option here. So it will paste my new UUID. Next thing that you need to add is the path run media deck and this long name. This is the path you would get it from your folder section. So here you have your folder. Here you scroll all the way bottom. Here you have your external removable media, right? So you need to go on, do a right click here, go on to properties. So here you can see you have the path exactly like this, run media deck, and then you have your UUID. So that is what we are going to do as well. So here I already have my run and media. So I will go here on to the right. I will delete the old UUID. And then again do a paste. So here my UUID is updated. Then you need to type the file format or the partition format, which is ext4, and then defaults, then comma, no fail, and then space 0 space 0. So that is what you need to type, and then you can save by Control S, Control X, Y, and enter. So this will save the partition file so as to be able to remount this file every time you load your Steam Deck. So next thing that you need to do is go here, USB or your external removable device thing here on the icon. Then you have to go on to the top, go on to the settings. It will open up this window. Here you have to select on removable devices, and then here if you do not have these two ticks, ensure that you do this tick. If you have removed it, just retick it, and then also if you have removed it from here, just retick this one. And then once you have ticked both, ensure that you tick this part as well to automatically mount any unrecognized devices as well. You can apply and save. You can apply the changes and save from here. Once you apply, you close it. So as you can see, I have already mounted. So before we mount that, guys, sometimes you will get some error that you are not the owner or you do not have access to mount it. So to rectify that or to check that, first you need to go to folder here, and then the same way on the permissions you go here, and if you see you have a user like root like I have, you will not be able to mount your external SSD onto your Steam Deck properly in the gaming mode. So we are going to change this user and owner as of now so that you will be able to mount it properly. So we need to cancel this one for now so that it is not locked. We need to go back to console. Here you have to write pwd so that you know where you need to go. So as you have already seen the path, we'll go to the path cd slash backspace space slash run slash media slash deck, press enter, do an ls to know that this is the path you would want to be. So as you can see, I can see my SSD there, so that is where we'll go. So you need to type a command sudo chown to change the owner, and then change it to deck. This is the owner we want, and then you need to paste the UUID that you already copied. So you have a paste option here, use this paste, and then you need to put a slash there in the end. So that is how you change the owner. Press enter, it will ask you for the password. Again enter the password and press enter. Your owner has now been changed. So let's go and double check. So here is my folder. Let's go here to my external drive. I have lost and found as well, so we'll go and change the ownership of lost and found as well. So let's first quickly check the ownership if it has changed. Go to properties, now go to permissions. As you can see, my user has been changed, but my group has not been changed because I have one folder which I do not have access as of now, so it cannot make that change. So let's cancel this one and go back to the console. Here we need to write exactly same thing. This time we need to delete this. We need to go into your inside your SSD. So we'll do again a CD and a path. Now we are inside the SSD. Now we'll be able to change the owner. So we need to type the same command. It's just that what we need to do is delete the SSD and we'll type the lost and found. Lost plus, here is your plus. So we'll shift L2 and then press. So lost plus found, that is what we need to type, and press enter again. So as you can see, my lost and found folder access has already been changed as well. So let's go back to the folder. So here we'll look at the permissions again, properties and permissions. So this time you can see I have an authorization to change it to deck. I will click on OK. So that is how, guys, you change the permissions. Now the last thing that we need to do is mount your SSD onto your Steam Deck. This is very simple. We'll close all of this. We'll go to the Steam icon onto the bottom and then go to settings. From the settings, you need to go to storage. As you can see, here is a plus icon, which you do not have it in the gaming mode. So ensure that you perform this action from the desktop mode itself. So we do a plus. So this time, if you would have already changed the permissions, you will see it auto detected. All we need to do is click on add. Once you have added and go back to the gaming mode, you will be able to see this SSD mounted onto your Steam Deck, and you can download the games onto this external drive. So this, as you can see here, I have 3 drives connected as of now. One is internal of 2 TB, a micro SD of half TB, and a 2 TB external SSD. So as you can see, I will have a total of 4.5 TB, which is more than enough for all the games I would ever play onto the Steam Deck. So this is it, guys. This is how you install an external SSD onto your Steam Deck. I hope you guys like this video. If you guys like this video, please do not forget to hit that like button. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section below. I will try and answer as soon as possible. If you're new to my channel and not yet subscribed to my channel, please hit that subscribe button and click that bell notification icon so that you get the notifications for all my new videos. Thank you, guys. Thanks for watching, and clear skies.